This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Good morning, my friends. It is Sunday morning, and you will see that we are saying SpiritWings Tea and Tarot instead of Sunday Morning Tea and Tarot because we're just rebranding all over the freaking place right now. And so you're going to hear some new things. I had to take a little minute, take a little breath, have a little sip of my tea. I actually have tea this morning, Earl Grey, hot. Good morning, Erica and Alexandra and Cherie. Good morning, Rachel. Rachel, I had so much fun with you last night. Like, I needed that. That was amazing. I don't know how it was received by everybody else. The people there seemed to like it. Rachel and I did Sex in the Shadow last night. So if you're a member of our group, Tarot for Real Life, and you should be a member because it's a great group, there's a little call to action button so you can join. Answer the questions, and the kindness one is important to me. So we hadn't gotten together for a little Sex in the Shadow recently, and we had a great time last night. We had some great conversation. All the tarot and astrology for solstice night, the longest night of the year. I hope you generated a little heat, you know, by yourself or with those that you love. So it was super fun. You should go back and watch the replay. Good morning, Mary Jane. Good morning, Kathy and Melody and Ramona and Kimberly Ranker. Good morning. Are you new? We love to pull cards for new people, so let us know. And Sin Campbell is here, and Shawneen and Carla, Jackie, April. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Delcy. Good morning. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see you. So do a little thing, like and share the video if you're called right now. It appeases the Facebook algorithms and gets the message out far and wide, which we love. I want to talk to you a little bit. Big surprise. I want to talk to you a little bit about the moon right now. I'm such a moon baby. Good morning, honey. How are you?
I'm doing good. We've been busy creating things and
cranking it out.
And our house is a freaking wreck because we are now downsized into one living location, which is fabulous, but it's a freaking wreck here.
It's true. It's true. But, and
it's great to sleep in one bed.
It is. It is. So today we have the waxing moon. It's like in its little crescent phase. We've got a few more days before that new moon in Capricorn. Right now, the moon is in Scorpio. And just saying about all that stuff that still needs to be done, you might want to cultivate a little rest right now. I know it's hard, but let's work with it. It's a big week this week, not just in the message, but yeah, in the message. But a lot of us are traveling or we have people coming to us. There seems to be a lot of social pressure at foot. We've got all sorts of potential craziness on the docket this week, and we're hopefully together we're going to look into the cards and figure out how we're going to work effectively with the swirl, the path, and the illumination. With this final move to the new moon And there's an eclipse on this new moon on the 26th. It's a good time to get a little extra rest. In fact, Scorpio may let you know over the next day or so that you've worn yourself a little too ragged, emotionally, for sure. And you know that always leads to, that nasty winter cold, or all your kids get sick at once, all that kind of stuff. So you might need to allocate some time for yourself alone in the dark, just doing what you do. For me, it'll be alone in the bathtub. There may be crying, who knows? So as you are able, and don't just knee jerk saying, I don't have time to rest. We do that. Take some time to rest and prepare over the next few days. Find some time to lay it all down. We are in hermiting time. The hooded one sits at solstice. That was last night. And I'm using the Wildwood Tarot deck today. Ryan and Matthews are the authors. Will Worthington is the illustrator. If you've been with me a while, you've seen it before. So I got the Hermit out, the hooded one out, as our significator. And I just want to put the Hermit up here to reign over the reading this morning. And the Hermit, I like to think of as asking us to go within, to really dig deep into our soul space and do some radical self-care, not bullshit self-care, radical self-care. So find some time. I want you to get your calendar out after tea and tarot and really look at what you have to do and what you are just allowing the culture mama to tell you that you have to do. So just do that thing. Eke out, even if it's just minutes for yourself here and minutes for yourself there. It's worth it to put your time and attention into carving out these little moments where you can lay it all down and breathe. How long does it really take to take 10 breaths? Not long. You'll still be able to get it all done, but you'll feel more centered. How long does it take to have a glass of water, to just stop, sit down, and drink a little bit of water and feel the quenching and the refreshment? Give yourself these moments to notice where you're feeling tight. Any place that you're feeling discomfort, and this can be physical, it can be emotional, and it certainly can be spiritual. And breathe into those places. Take time under this disappearing moon to pray, to meditate, to surrender. As we open this channel of divine love and light to bring forth the message for Sunday morning tea and tarot, I ask that our guides, angels, light beings, and ancestors show up, surround us with love and protection, and bring forth messages that are clear, concise, actionable, for the good of all, for the harm of none, in perfect love and perfect trust. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Ooh! Yay, yay, yay! So we're going to be downloading this video and then uploading it to YouTube. So if you're watching this in replay on YouTube, welcome to SpiritWings Tea and Tarot. I am Valerie Friend. You can find me at valeriefriend.com and on Facebook and Instagram and on Patreon, where you can support the work. I'll put a link in the feed or on YouTube in the description. It's going to be a little awkward for a while. It's just the way it is. So the swirl.
Feedback is a gift.
What?
Feedback is a gift.
Yeah. Tell us what you want to
change. We're gonna try stuff and iterate, and so feedback is a gift.
So is Earl Grey tea.
Oh,
Earl Grey tea is a gift.
My coffee isn't as good.
And I have it in my Hermiting Season cup that Claire Grimm designed last year at Hermiting Season. I love this so much. I love it. Get yourselves a cup of tea, people.
This isn't Starbucks coffee, is it?
I don't know, honey. We'll talk about that later. All right. So the swirl this week. The energy that is swirling around in the collective consciousness this week. And we have the Seven of Bows reversed. Ryan and Matthews name this clearance. Sort of like that clearance sale you can't resist. Well, we're talking about a different kind of clearance here. Then we have the Ten of Bows. Very wandsy today. Ten of Bows reversed. This card is named Responsibility, and it's showing up in reverse. And then we have the Eight of Cups, Eight of Vessels, Rebirth, rounding out the swirl. So let's take it apart a little bit. I want you to look at this image of the Seven of Bows clearance from the Wildwood deck. I'm going to turn it up right so you can see it. So in the foreground, we have a worn out bow. It's served its purpose. It's no longer useful. And then we have the other bows leaning against the tree in a state of raw material. They still need to be finished. You see, they're not strung. They're incomplete. And this is very different from sort of the visual appearance of the Seven of Wands in the traditional deck. That sort of is like one last hurrah, like we're going in again and we're going to do it this time, blah, 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 blah. So reversed, this card is indicating a perceived threat or even an intuitive hit on a potentially anxious or triggering situation. You know, we haven't cleared it all away yet. There's residual messy buildup that needs to be released, repurposed. You know, that old wand that doesn't, or that old bow that doesn't function anymore is going to be fuel for the fire over here. And then these new wands are going to be finished and strung and prepared. So we're being called into a little bit of preparedness. So I want to talk a little bit about this anxious, triggery kind of vibe that is swirling around this week. Number one, loads of us will be getting together with our family this week, whether it's your family of choice, your family of origin, your first family, your second family, your third family. Family brings up stuff. It just does. It can bring lots of joy, lots of wonder. You know, it's not all bad, but family really is an F word. Did I mention tea and tarot can be a little sweary? You might want to get your earbuds. So, you know, one of my, so I don't really enjoy the whole Christmas scene, and I haven't for a really long time. If my children are watching, they're going to laugh about this for sure. But here's one of my favorite Christmas songs. Oh, holy crap, the family is coming. It is the time of the greatest bullshit. And I really did feel that way for a long time. And I got this label in my family that I was always the one ruining the family day. And I did quite a lot. And a lot of it was because I didn't clear away that which no longer served. And I didn't pay attention to cultivating the new tools necessary in order to do the work. All right. I didn't know. And once I knew better, I did better. And guess what? It felt better and my life got better. So additionally, for some of us, and I've had some lonely holiday seasons for sure. Honey, how many years ago was it when you went away and you went on a cruise with your mother and your sister for Christmas?
A couple of Christmases ago, I think.
Yeah. That sucked.
Well, I mean, while I was on the cruise,
for me,
it was lovely.
I'm sure it was great for you, but for me, that was like a really lonely year for me. So, sometimes when our holidays don't look like the culture mama's definition of what Hanukkah, tonight's the first night of Hanukkah, Christmas is coming, any of the holidays that you celebrate, when it doesn't look like the culture mama tells us it's supposed to, we can get provoked into doing things that we do when we forget who we really are at a soul level, what our soul's contract is. I call this our remembered self. When you forget who you are, we don't always act like the person that we can be because we are them already. It's just covered up with all the holy crap. So the real message here is one of preparedness. What's in your toolkit? What kind of shape are your tools in right now? In these final moments of 2019, what are you being called to contemplate while you have a few moments of rest? Do the work, look at your calendar, cross off what's not necessary. And if you said yes to something that you should have said no to, it's going to be uncomfortable and people will be disappointed. But you got to walk that back because you're just going to have a big, massive resentment afterwards. So, pay now, pay later. It's your choice. Enter the 10 of Bows reversed. Now, this is some valuable guidance this week, I feel. This is the antidote in the swirl. And it just is saying, lay down your burdens, ask for and receive help, offer assistance where you can, where it's appropriate and comes from a willing and compassionate heart. Not like, oh, I'm going to have to go and drive an hour and a half away and pick up Uncle Joe, who used to do these crappy things to me when I was young, and sit and listen to all his racist jokes on the drive back to my parents' house. No, say no to that. Like I said, I could do this, but you know what? Uncle Joe is an asshole, and I'm not going to spend an hour and a half in a car with him. So you get to say those things. You get to walk him back. I know it's uncomfortable. I know people are going to give you shit. I know they're going to be disappointed. And you know what else I know? You have the resiliency to breathe through that suck in service of your highest self. 8 of Vessels, all right? Rebirth. This is named Rebirth in this deck, and it is. I want to quote right from Ryan and Matthew's book. By looking at the past and acknowledging our mistakes. Okay, I want to stop right there. Let's just put a pin in that. Let's go back to the example of Uncle Joe. You may say, I didn't make the mistake. He made the mistake. He did the thing. He is the asshole. Yes, true. And you said yes to driving an hour and a half away to go pick him up. So you have responsibility. You have choices in your own rebirth. By looking at the past and acknowledging our mistakes and learning from them, we grow and attain new wisdom. The future waits to be unfolded by our positive actions as we become the 8th vessel and receive powerful rejuvenation energies of rebirth. All right? So You have to make room for your own rebirth. It is just the goddamn truth, okay? You have to make room for your own rebirth. Astrologically, this is what it's all about right now. This is the opportunity that's being presented to us by the cosmos, but it is not without sorrow and loss, as we can see in the traditional deck. You know, you go back to your mom and say about her brother, I'm not doing it. I know I said I would do it, but I can't and I won't. And I'll do these other things instead that I feel good about, but I'm not doing that. I love you, and I know you love your brother, but I'm not doing that. You know, hard conversation. I had to have these conversations with my mom a lot because my mom's brother was a real F word. I don't even know why I'm trying to keep it clean. His name was Dick, and it was so apropos. So I've been talking with people about this all week in readings and consultations. Like, what are you willing to leave behind in 2019, in this decade of the teens as we proceed into the 20s? This is a moment, my friends. Make it a moment. Do the thing, stretch and grow. If I can do this YouTube thing, you can do some things, because let me tell you, I've been scared and it was hard, but I did it anyway. I breathed through the suck. Okay, here is the path. And the path holds a lot of red flags for awareness this week. I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be smooth sailing. But I want you to know that if something feels off, trust it. Create an orb of protection around yourself and your loved ones. I put a dried teasel, spiky, I wish I brought it in, but I didn't, on my Yule altar for protection in the north, earth life. We need some protection in earth life. So do that thing. First thing, get right with your deities, call in some protection, and hold on to your witch hats, because we might be in for a little bumpy ride. First off in the path is the shaman reversed, okay? And I feel like this is really part of this energy of the Scorpio moon. Honey, did you just have your hand up?
I did. The shaman reversed in the
magician. The magician.
Okay, right,
okay, so the shaman reverse leads us into this Scorpio moon, and the shadow elements of Scorpio can really be resentment, jealousy, and those kind of feelings in the hands of the magician reversed can be manipulation, being hurtful. In the long term, it can really be being led or walking down the wrong path. Now, it's up to you. It can be a short little detour in, I said yes to this and I should have said no, and I'm going to walk it back, and it's going to be a little painful. But the alternative is you can take a very long walk back into your old bullshit and really have people there saying, well, that's the right thing to do. Oh no, did you hear that so-and-so canceled on this because and then you're right back down into that path of illusion again. The shaman reverse can be the guru archetype corrupted. Okay, so someone who wants you to participate in the old ways to inflate their own ego rather than leading you into doing what's right for you in the moment, being supportive, helping you manifest a new dedication to your own wholeness and lived remembering. No, instead of that, they're going to make you feel guilty. They oftentimes, corrupted gurus create a false sense of urgency around things. I'm going to keep beating my example of Uncle Joe. I don't have an Uncle Joe, just letting you know. But, you know, this is sort of the, well, he's going to die soon, and aren't you going to feel bad about that? You know, that kind of thing. No. Anybody who's creating this false sense of urgency for you, that's not in your best interest. I've seen this with tarotists, tarot readers and healers, where they create this false sense of urgency, a real relationship of dependency and fear-mongering in order to keep clients coming back. And that's a whole lot of corrupt magician, reverse bullshit crap that I am not down with. So choose your gurus. Now, I don't even want to use that word. Choose your spiritual teachers wisely. As we're going into this new year and this new decade, if a new teacher is something that you're calling in, make sure you look at that person with clear eyes. What does their lived remembering look like? You know, anybody can say they're this or that, but what does their life roll out? How honest are they? How forthcoming are they with their own work and their own process? As we go into this individual and collective rebirthing, it's important to listen to your soul as you choose a teacher. Once again, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. You know, maybe it will feel right later, but anybody that's telling you, act now, you know, if you don't buy this by midnight, the price is going to double. Anybody who does that kind of slimy shit is just not your friend and not your teacher. I got a little ahead of myself here. Anybody who's telling you that they're the only one that can fix your problems, or they're the only one who ever really understands you, that's not it. That's that creating isolation. That's making your world smaller. I'm the only one who can help you. You know, a real teacher and a real guide is going to say, here are some thoughts. And here are some other people who have really amazing thoughts. Why don't you go out and sample them all? You know, inviting you to expand. A good teacher offers you expansion, not contraction. Also, the energy is out there this week to sort of entice you into reacting to things, you know, because they'll poke at you and they'll poke at you and they'll poke at you until you pop off. And then they're like, oh, look, see, there's Valerie. She likes to ruin the family day. Honey, are any of my sisters on this morning? So we have the Six of Vessels entering in. Ryan and Matthews have named this reunion. And isn't that apropos? But it's on its head. And, you know, I just want you to be in awareness. You don't have to paint lipstick on any pigs this week. You honestly don't. You don't have to like dress it all up and make it seem like something different than it is. You don't have to be... you know, you don't have to be an asshole either. If Uncle Joe is around and you're at your mother's house and you have no call over who gets invited and who doesn't, then what do you do about that? Well, you better have your tools of resiliency. You better have your truth tellers and your sacred circle on speed dial. Wander off, sit in the coat closet if you need to, and have a good talk with somebody you trust who's earned the right to hear your story, okay? So, but I want you to ask yourself, who is making a curtain call at the end of 2019? Like, who's showing up out of the blue, You know, maybe it was that
like that.
cousin that you used to go outside. Like we had this old bread truck that was our playhouse. I know, I grew up in the garage. And when we got to be older, like teenage years, sometimes the cousins would be around, and we would go out there and like smoke pot, you know. And all of a sudden, you're like bonding over this shared nostalgia, and really, they're not people that you want in your everyday life. It might be nice to visit with them from time to time, but I want you to think about, you know, who's making a curtain call. What issues, it may not even be people, but what issues might be coming back around again? Like something that's happened before, you thought you learned, and then you did it a little different, but not completely different. And now it's coming around to be readdressed. Have a look at those kind of things. You know, because you don't have to go all the way down the wrong path. You can course correct at any time, but you have to have awareness. In order to forgive, you do not have to forget. You know, when we go into rebirth energy and this Eight of Cups, you know, this is about releasing. It's not about forgiving and going back in for another helping again and again and again. This is really about saying, like, who gets to be here on the next leg of this journey. Our last card in the path is the green man, the green one, the emperor in the traditional tarot, and it's showing up in reverse. And this kind of, the emperor reverse can be the hallmark of toxic masculinity. But I want you to stay with me here for a minute, because I heard a different message from this card this morning. The trappings of patriarchy are being tested and challenged. They are right now. If you're a U.S. citizen, they're being tested on the national stage.
Hallelujah, sister.
Amen. Internationally, there's stuff going on. I mean, there is a new awareness about the control, the corruption that's been at foot for a long, long time. And of course, whenever that happens, people cling to it, because they always have and they always will, because they're like, oh, if we don't have this, what will we have? We'll be floating out there in space, and it'll be chaos and anarchy, and you know, the women will think they're actually worthy. We can't have that. So as we rebirth ourselves, I want you to think about this next decade in Kronos time and see what we're being asked to walk away from. Is it like some salesed up, manipulative shaman reverse situation? Because we're really being asked to step into the role of disruptor. You know, we're being asked to like look at it differently, not get ourselves so wound up and triggered and reactivated and you know, pissed off all the time. That hasn't worked very well for us. Okay, but what will it look like to be reborn into your authenticity, into your lived remembering? What will that look like? Let me tell you, any group or teacher or colleague that's asking you to put your own truth and values and moral compass down in order to be part of their group, that's a huge red flag. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't waste any more of your minutes even contemplating it. If it doesn't, this week, I want you to make a little post-it note prayer for yourself. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right, okay? It looks like we're preparing ourselves for truth and clearing the way for what's worn out and has served its purpose and needs to be put on the bonfire, thanked for its service and laid down. All those lessons, no matter how hard and painful they were valuable. Honor them. You don't have to hand your power over to anybody else. You know, breathe through the discomfort. Walk back those yeses that should have been no's. And conversely, if you knee-jerk said no, but you really feel like you could do that thing, call them back and say, you know what, I think I can do that. These are the boundaries I'm going to need to have in place, but I think that I can really do that. Okay? Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. I'm going to show you the 10 of Wands reversed. Ask for help. Don't carry that load all by yourself. The illumination. The illumination. And 2 cards came out, a pip and major arcana. So we have the 2 of stones, which Ryan and Matthews have labeled challenge. Just look at this card. I almost feel like I don't even need to say anything about it. And then we have the moon showing up reversed. And there is a real temptation this week to see the challenges and run right back for another helping of the lie. It's just true. And that energy is always there, right? Yeah, it's always there. So the moon really echoes this 8 of Cups energy. You know, look at the moon. See the similarity? So we're being invited into renewal that awaits us, awaits our lived remembering. But we get scared, especially in the dark and the cold and the hungry times. You know, it's easier to be brave with a full pot and a full bank account and a full, list of things that are important for you to get done and exchange your energy with. We worry that we're going to be left alone and desolate if we choose to walk away. You know, our small selves tell us that we must get into lockstep with whatever guru dogma bullshit of the moment is calling out to us, and not question or challenge the status quo. Likewise, we get inflamed. The challenge, the conflict, the sparring, all right? You know, in the traditional deck, this is the little juggler, the dancer, but I think Ryan and Matthews really nails it here this week. We don't have to shy away from the challenges, but to the status quo, to the family ways, to the traditions that haven't served us. But we don't have to punch anybody in the nose either. You know, really, be responsible with your own energy. Before you get to that, leave. You can. You know, and if anybody's preventing you from leaving a situation, that's a different story. And that is, actually illegal. So unless you're being imprisoned in some way, actually, physically, you get to leave. And you will have to hear about the fallout. Even if you don't answer your phone, like all your people are going to start blowing up social media and putting up memes that are, a little shady. And you could engage in that behavior too. Don't do it. Okay? Boy, I'm getting a little forceful here. I'm going to take y'all to church. But not as a guru. I'm just like a lay preacher that came in from the country to speak at the Christmas service. Because I don't want to be anybody's guru. So when we ease ourselves into the rebirth of the light, today is the first day after solstice. There will be a little more light today, okay? We can see that responsibility for our own well-being is actually so empowering, you know, really, really. And I'm not talking about self-blame here. I'm talking about response ability. You have the ability to respond in a rebirthed way this week. So I want you to build in breaks, and I want you to do this other thing. I want you to print out Brene Brown's 10 guideposts for wholehearted living. And I want you to put it up. Because when we get provoked and the mystery gets a little too mysterious and Scorpio-y, Brene talks about we do 3 things. And she's quoting somebody else's work, and I apologize. I can't remember who it is. We move towards, so we go into people-pleasing behaviors. We move away, so we isolate and inflict loneliness upon ourselves. Or we move against, we get into a big fight. We turn into boxing bunnies, all right? So print this out. It's really good, and you can put it up where you know you're going to see it. If you're traveling, fold it up and put it in your pocket or put it in your bra pocket, and every time you go into the bathroom, take it out and read it. You know, I'm just going to do a little quick. Letting go of what people think and cultivating authenticity. Letting go of perfectionists and cultivating self-compassion. Letting go of numbing and powerlessness and cultivating a resilient spirit. Letting go of scarcity and fear of the dark, cultivating gratitude and joy. Letting go of the need for certainty and cultivating intuition and trusting faith. Letting go of comparison and cultivating creativity. Letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth, cultivating rest and play. Letting go of anxiety as a lifestyle, cultivating calm and stillness. Letting go of self-doubt and supposed to, cultivating meaningful work. Letting go of being cool. Sorry, it's a weird font. Letting go of being cool and always in control, cultivating laughter, song, and dance. Hey, if you get a chance to check out the video on YouTube today, and I hope you do, from 12 Days of Yule, I did a whole thing on reading tarot for fun, and maybe you want to call in more fun over the next year. So give it a watch. At the end, I do a reading for Amy, and Liza did some editing of the video, and it's very funny. It's very funny. And if you see it,
I said some things I might regret.
Honey, you won't regret it. I promise. I hold you very tenderly. Anyway, that's what I've got for you today. Sorry, I went on a little bit, but you know, hell, it's Yule. So it's a big message. It's a big message. I have my little Yule log here, the birch, the jump over the Yule log into this new year, this new energy, this rebirthing. You can do this. We're going to be here to help you. You can join Tarot for Real Life. You can join my $16 a month Moon Meditation Sacred Circle and find some magic there. We are going to be cultivating a lot of magic over this next year, and I really would love you to be along for the ride. And not because I know what I'm doing. I know some stuff, but I also know that you know some stuff. And my remembered self recognizes your remembered self and vice versa. So it's an energy exchange. It's reciprocity at its best. And I am really looking forward to this new year. So for our card pulls today, I'm not really set up as well as I should be here. No shoulds, I'm good. I have a traditional deck and I have Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light deck. I'm actually going to put these two cards back in my traditional deck. So I have the Radiant Rider Waite deck for tarot pulls, and I have Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light deck because it speaks to me of those portals, and whether you want to recognize it or not, you're at a portal. You're at a portal of time. We're going to have an eclipse. Shani Nicholas calls eclipses pattern markers. So what kind of reset are you calling in? Put it in the comments. Ask your question. Let's see if we can get you some answers. And we probably are going to go over a little bit today because I rambled on a bit. And I still want to do some card pulls. And I haven't drank all of my Earl Grey tea. Who do you have for us, babe?
How about Anna Maria?
Anna Maria.
She says she's been really challenging her overfunctioning and focused on healing. She's taking her inner hermit serious. She would love a card to know what she's still holding on to so that she can release it.
Anna Maria, that is amazing. And I'm going to just, number one, I just want to ring the bell for you, okay? Really clear the energy. I feel like you're doing good work and maybe you're still looking for like, what else is left to do? I have to do one more thing. You know, that can be a little bit of the residue of over-functioning. Am I working hard enough on my ascension? You know? So I'm going to pull from the Work Your Light deck and just see if we can turn you towards the portal. So hands on your heart. Call it in. Take a break. Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill, okay? So, and if you've read Rebecca Campbell's book, she talks about you want to cultivate a life's work. So you want to see the bigness of your entire experience in this lived reality. You don't have to get it all done right now. Like your spiritual ascension is not something that you check off the list. Lived remembering means the whole time you're walking the path. You're walking yourself home. You're letting us walk home with you. So take a break, especially over these next few days leading up to the new moon. A lot of witches do no magic during this time. A lot of witches, especially on the day before the new moon, they treat it almost like, you know, like an Orthodox Jew and not doing no work on the holiest days, you know. So you might want to just plan Christmas Eve to be like that take a break day, you know, or tomorrow. You don't have to wait till the 24th. You could do it today. Chuck everything and take a break today. What would you do? What would you do if you could really take a break? What would it look like? What would it smell like? What would it taste like? What would it sound like? What would it feel like? Step into that portal. And do you see this little tiny sliver crescent moon here? Go out and gaze at the moon. You know, the moon was our illumination card, and maybe it showed up in reverse, but it's always available in its upright form. You know, and I want you to look at the reflection. What's being reflected back to you in those moments of self-care and just ease and breath and flow, okay? That's what I've got for you. You are onto something. I'm not saying putting it down. I'm not saying mark it D for done. I'm just saying give yourself a little pause right now, okay? That's what I've got for you. I hope it helps. Who else, my darling?
Let's see. How about Vivian Jimenez would love a Rebecca card for guidance, please. Thank you.
Vivian Jimenez would like to have a card for guidance from the Work Your Light deck. And friends, if I pull a card for somebody else and it resonates with you, it's for you too. Vivian just asked for it, okay? So give her a little thank you. You could actually say thank you in the feed, but definitely do a little thank you like that. Okay, Vivian, what do I have for you? I have protection for you, okay? Call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. This really takes us back to the Seven of Bows, that clearance in reverse. What needs to be protected right now? Maybe it's as simple as creating a little orb of protection around yourself and your family right now, or your people. I don't want to just use the word family because that's, I also am being drawn to the eclipse here. This is an annular eclipse, so this really draws me to this eclipse energy, the cord cutting, so the eclipse, the new moon in Capricorn is happening at November 26th. Probably Rachel could give us the exact time, at least here in the eastern US. But what cords need to be cut? What do you absolutely have to leave in this decade, in this year? What lessons have you learned? We're going to be talking about this actually on the 26th in the YouTube series for the 12 Days of Yule. So you might want to tune in on that day as well. Look at, it's very powerful. Like, this isn't protection in a victim-y kind of way at all. This is a protection in, these are my boundaries. You don't get to cross my boundaries. This is my space. This is my lived remembering. So give yourself those gifts, but I'm really hearing something on the eclipse for you. Do a thing, cut a cord, leave something behind. Write a farewell letter to some bullshit that keeps popping up in your life. It's time. Okay? Who's next, honey?
Let's see. Victoria Lynn Grunthenair.
Victoria, hi.
She says this weekend's has already been very traumatic. After all this,
I'm so sorry.
After all this wonderful work had been done over the last year, it felt like a ginormous curveball was thrown. I'm just wondering where to focus my energy to keep my family safe.
Okay. I might pull something from the Work Your Light deck, but I'm going to go to the traditional deck for this, Victoria. So number one, review the reading for today. Like, what needs to be left behind? What preparations do you need to make? How do you ask for help and offer help in appropriate measure? And how do you sort of work with the energy of challenge? Nine of Swords, this is the misery and nightmare card. And what do we know about this card? Here's the thing. The swords are elongated in the Nine of Swords. Oftentimes we're making it worse for ourselves than it needs to be. And the real message is one of reaching for real comfort. Okay? Not self-soothing, but not self-medicating. Don't go back into any sort of addictions or overindulgences to dull the pain right now. Instead, I want you to reach for real comfort. Who, where are those who can support you right now? Your truth tellers. Don't go back to those people who have that shaman reverse sort of thing. Those would be the people who would say, I told you it was going to happen and you didn't listen to me and I don't even know why you didn't. You know, like, who needs that? Who needs that when they've got this, right? No one. It doesn't help. It's often a shame trigger. And right now you need to be going into the self-care and reaching for real comfort. So what does that look like for you? And you might not know. And part of your journey right now might be finding a professional to work with who's going to help you sort it out, who's going to help you right size those swords and not go deeper into the fear. Okay, I'm going to pull from the Work Your Light deck too, just because, you know, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, you're exactly where you think you are. And it's another thing to say, you are a pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. You are the goddess. You are her. She is you. You are one. All is well. You can offer it up to the guardian of your soul. You can receive the light. You can step into the light. You can be the center of your own healing. Okay, remember I said we might get invited back to participate in one more round of the holy bullshit? This is your invitation into the light. Get some time alone. Meditate. Sit quietly. Leave your phone outside. Turn it off. You know, be with the guardian of your soul today. Go into that. Ask for what you need and then follow the breadcrumbs, okay? That's what I've got for you, sweetie. I'm holding you. If you're willing to receive, I will send you Reiki today, okay? So let me know in the comments. Who else, honey?
How about Lori Leonard?
Hi, Lori Leonard.
She says, how about a card for those of us whose loved ones refuse to have contact?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that is such a crapo feeling at the holidays, right? I've been there. I'm not there this year, and I'm very thankful for it, but I've been there, and yeah, me too, and yuck. So here's what I've got for you. I'm pulling from the traditional deck, and I've got two queens. All right, two queens showing up. I'm
fabulous.
Not that kind of queens, honey. So I'm wondering if maybe some of these people that are sort of not being around might be your kids, because the queen's the mother. Hurtful, yeah. So first we have the Queen of Swords showing up in reverse, and this is like, see it clearly for what it is. You know, yes, it's hurtful. Yes, there are things that you wish you could communicate. Swords, element of air, all about communications. You'd like to clear the air. You'd like to move forward into a more honest and open relationship. But then we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed, saying, wah, wah, wah. You know, Earth life just sucks and I don't deserve this, and you know, I do and I do and I do for your kids, and this is the thanks I get. You know, that kind of martyry kind of energy can come in, and no shame or blame about it. You know, it feels crappy, and you do sort of sit there in your list and like, remember when I did this, and remember when I gave this to you, and you know, you start doing that thing. We are earthlings, we are humans, we are small selves as well as higher selves, so those earthy elements do come in. But I'm asking you to like resist, just get clarity. Just get clarity. You know, you don't have to participate with them on the earthly plane right now. You can do it on the energetic plane and the plane of air. I would really just, wouldn't it be lovely if there are people who are withholding themselves from your life right now for any reason? Maybe a good reason, maybe total crap, whatever reason they're doing it, don't judge it. But what if you wrote them a beautiful letter for the end of this decade? What if you wrote a beautiful letter to them and then burned it and sent the ashes out into the wind? What if you did that little working? You send it off to be handled by the guardian of air, the mistress of the wind, the one who brings the winds of change. How about that? How about that? Try that. Or don't try it if it doesn't feel right for you. It's just my suggestion. But the two queens together, really check yourself before you wreck yourself. Make a better choice. Don't act like that girl you don't like. Okay? That's what I've got in a nutshell. I hope it's helpful. I know it's still crap, Breathe through the suck. Breathe through the suck. Get yourself a good Brene Brown book and hole up for the holiday season, learning some new things. Work on your 10 guideposts for wholehearted living. Can you tell, do you know that I had a dream about Brene Brown last night? Like, not a dream, but like she just kept coming in and out of my dream, like to tell me some things. And it was so perfect and wonderful. And she had good advice. I didn't really like the pocketbook she was carrying. And I noticed that. But other than that, she had great advice. All right. What do you say, honey? One more?
I got two more.
You've got two more? Okay. Well, it's Yule. Let's do it.
Okay. So, hold on a sec. Carla Rojas.
Carla Rojas from the West Coast.
Yes. So she's calling in protection for her son as he enters in military life. And she's calling in financial freedom and success in her mortgage business. And she's calling in for her real estate licensing.
Lots of stuff on your manifestation platter.
Yeah. So,
yeah. You know what? Number one, you should go watch day one of our 12 days of Yule about building a Yule altar and really working on those manifestation tools that really work. Not the whole, I'm going to sit here and visualize it until it comes to fruition. It's more like, where's the rubber going to hit the road here, baby? So number one, I would really suggest you go back and watch that one. I think you'll find it cool. And, if you build a Yule altar, I'd love to see a picture. So I'm gonna pull a card first from the traditional deck, and this is just on the protection for your son, because I know that's hard when they fly the crew. The Empress, he is really branching out there, and you're just feeling like a protective mama. That's it. You'll deal with whatever comes. He knows that about you. He can count on you. You have been the creatrix of a lot of beauty in his life. Probably a lot of other things too, because we're mothers and, we do things. But really feel good about this. It's his choice. Oftentimes these kind of things are rites of passage, and it's his choice. So what are you going to do except breathe the blessing, upon him? I love you. You are circled in protection. Your highest good is at the forefront every day. You might have heard, Carla, you've been with me for a while, so you might have heard this about me. I have a kid who lives on the West Coast, and she likes to do things like live outside for weeks and weeks at a time and climb the faces of rocks and all that kind of stuff. She's my adventurer. And in my prayer practice in the morning, I do this with each of my daughters, but especially Hadley seems to resonate with this, son going to the military. I sit them in my hand, in the palm of my hand in my prayer practice, and then I wrap them in white light. And I ask for the highest good, and then I release them to their destiny. Okay? Like, what else are you going to do, Mama? What else are you going to do? For your business stuff, I want to pull from the Work Your Light deck. And what I have is transformation. Look at that. Look at you being the queen of your biz right there. Things are changing at a cellular level. You are receiving deep healing right now. You know, I love this card. I am seeing you as this transformation goddess sitting right here, and, you know, the energy of the sun, you know, so lots of go get 'em energy, but with the wisdom and the intuition of the moon. Do you see the moon at the top of her staff? You know, stand in your light. Don't flail around like a chicken with your head cut off. Just do the next right thing and the next right thing, and know everything's changing. And of course, it's not going to feel comfortable or business as usual, because it's not. You're doing something bigger. You're expanding. Okay? That's what I've got for you. Cultivate confidence. Build an altar to confidence. You know, you could call in the Queen of Wands. You could call in all the tarot queens if you wanted to. Be beautiful. Okay, babe, you said you had one more?
One more.
Okay.
And I get to pick this one.
You've picked all of them.
I know, but this one's very, you know, especially special to me. My twin sister's on with us today.
Oh, Natalie, I'd love to pull a card for Nat.
In the last 12 weeks, Natalie and I have had a chance to connect more, and she's been doing some great personal work and, you know, on anxiety and how to take the best care of herself. And I'm wondering, could you please pull a card for Natalie?
Which deck do you want?
Oh, dear. Well, it's hard because you know Natalie, so I don't know.
I'm going to pull from the Work Your Light deck.
Okay.
It seems to be delivering today at an astoundingly amazing rate. And I did not plan this, Natalie. I did not stack the deck. Fill up your well. Retreat, rest, refuel. Honey,
she knows this and she's working on it. Yeah.
This is good. This is good. And I'm really hearing, you know, I can't help but see the night sky, that crescent moon, although I do think that that's a waxing crescent, not a waning. I don't know. But, you know, here's one thing. I want you to really work on your sleep. I want you to pay attention to getting enough rest. Don't say it's hard. Did you hear that? Now, Natalie, ignore Amy completely here. You don't have to get it perfect. You don't, it just is something that you pay attention to. And I'm only saying this, you know, for the rest of you who are not in on the inside joke, I have impeccable sleep hygiene. I do, because I've had long bouts with insomnia and being underslept, and I don't act right, and I don't feel right, and I don't do right, and things are much crappier when I don't have enough sleep. Natalie often says things to me like, oh, just really, you know, I love your sleep routine and you do these things. And it's like, you know what? It didn't always look like this, girl. It didn't. I had to work on this over time. So retreat, you know, going away from the things that keep us awake at night, shutting down your electronics, turning off television and maybe picking up a book, Rest. Even if you're not sleeping, closing your eyes and resting your body. Or sometimes rest looks like a nice little meander outside. Even if it's cold, you have a sweet little back porch. Just go outside. Take a look at the moon. Take a few deep, restful breaths. Wouldn't that be renewing and rejuvenating? And refuel. And I think that that's where it'll come from. You'll receive guidance about what you need to do to refuel. When do you need to refuel? How do you need to refuel? Like if you're not rested, it's hard to know what the right fuel is to run your engine optimally, right? So I think this is a beautiful card for you. And you know what? You don't have to change everything at once. You don't have to change everything. It's a process. There is no right or wrong way to sort of attend to retreat, rest, and refuel in your life. It's just an awareness that you're calling this in and you participate in it as you are called. So I think that this is a beautiful message. It's a beautiful card. I think I'm going to snap a picture of it and text it to you after this. All right, that's a great place to end. So here is what's up. Support the work on Patreon if you love the work that I do. It's part of the energy exchange. I've got 3 levels. $2 basic balance level is like putting $2 in the collection plate. Boom. Thank you. This was of value to me. And here's how I will send the energy back to you. It's a good thing. And $2 you can afford. The $6 level is called the latte level. And that's saying, I love tea and tarot. I love your Facebook content or your Instagram content. And I'm kind of loving your new YouTube content. So I want to send you a little latte once a month. I want you to go to Starbucks on me and have that really nice drink that you don't buy for yourself because it's $6. So here it is. My $16 Moon Meditations level, they get extra goodies. They have been so super supportive of the YouTube launch. They have really made this happen for me, and I am appreciative to each and every one of them. If you would like to be part of the Sacred Circle, you can go to Patreon and subscribe at the $16 a month level because, hey, you didn't need to go through the drive-through that time. Just once a month, you bypass the drive-through and put some dollars towards your local witch and the work that she's putting out. So there you have it. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Today we're doing a tarot reading for fun. What's on the docket for tomorrow? It's tarot journaling, right, honey?
Yes.
Yeah, tomorrow's YouTube videos on tarot journaling, 12 days of Yule. I've done it for the last 2 years. It's like just a little invitation to end 2019 with some intentionality and some magic, and to call in 2020 with some bigger, brighter, more happy intention and yummy tarot goodness. Okay? So that's what I have for you today. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Tomorrow, morning cards with Melissa McIntyre Brown. Wednesday,
Christmas?
Yeah. I wonder if Angela is doing it. Angela, are you doing morning cards on Christmas Day? Let me know.
If she's not, maybe I'll do them.
Oh, maybe Amy will do them. You've got a sub who's already raised her hand for a holiday shift. That's a gift. Thursday is Eliza Peterson. And who knows? Maybe you'll see me Friday morning. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. Blessed Yule.